Whenever you're trying to fit something inside of a Ziploc bag, but it's too big for it, you can always just take a second inside out Ziploc bag and it'll snap together. If you don't have an iron, you can always throw your clothes back in the dryer with a couple of ice cubes to get the wrinkles out. If you have one of these candles with multiple wicks, stop trying to light each of the wicks with the lighter, okay? I know for a fact you're burning your thumb and you look ridiculous. Instead, just try lighting one of them and let gravity do the rest of the work for you. It's getting really hot out there. Like, ridiculously hot. So here's some hacks to stay cool this summer. During the day, try to make sure that all your windows and curtains are closed. You might not think that this makes much of a difference, but my AC bill says otherwise. If you're fancy enough to have a fan, you can force it to blow really cold air by just getting a bowl of ice and placing that in front of it. And if you're really just overheating, the best way to get your body temperature down quick is to run water over your wrists, because this is where your veins are closest to the surface. And if that doesn't work, you can always just stick some ice up here. If you're gonna send somebody a picture of yourself and you want them to think that you're like so attractive, make sure your hair is wet in the picture. Sounds crazy, like it would have the opposite effect, but several studies have shown that we rate people with wet hair as more attractive. We don't even know why. Isn't this sexy? My sense of self-confidence is skyrocketing. They say less than 25% of people can swallow their spit 3 times in a row, and that less than 1% of people can swallow it 5 times in a row. I thought that this was way more common, but apparently only 5% of the world actually has freckles. 4% of people have what's called a preocular pit, which is this small hole in front of the ear that's a part of their sinus tract that just got put in the wrong place. 25% of people can force themselves to sneeze by just looking at a bright light. And about 35% of people don't have an inner monologue or a voice in their head. They're just able to think without all the narration going on, which I don't understand, but they do exist. So a team of researchers took a group of people, separated them out by eye color, and then recorded their personality traits, and they found that there were actually some similarities in the groups. And we think that this has something to do with culture more than DNA, but still, here's what your eye color says about you. People with blue eyes tend to be more skeptical and hesitant to try new things, and it's also been linked to being an egocentric, which is this inflated sense of ego. People with green eyes are seen as the creative types and tend to be better at keeping their cool under high-stress situations. People with gray eyes are known to be wise but also gentle and are heavily regarded to be the best in leadership roles. People with hazel eyes are seen as more independent, and interestingly enough, research shows that they're more prone to anxiety and digestive issues. People with brown eyes are seen as the most trustworthy, sympathetic, and willing to help others, but they also have the hardest time getting up in the morning. I was watching some show about serial killers, and it said that the average person will walk by 11 murderers in their lifetime. And that got me thinking, which country has the most serial killers? Because obviously the average person there's exposure is going to be a little bit different. In 10th place, we have Russia with 73 convicted serial killers. 9th place is India with 80. 8th place is Australia with 81. 7th is Germany with 85. 6th is Japan with 96. 5th place is Italy with 97. 4th place is Canada with the first triple-digit country with 106 serial killers. 3rd place is South Africa with 117. 2nd place is England with 166. And I'm not even surprised by this, but 1st place is the United States of America with 3,204 convicted serial killers. What are we doing wrong? This is a friendly reminder that preheating your oven is a scam made up by the electric and gas companies. Okay, as soon as you turn this on, pop your food in. What are you waiting for? It's gonna cook while it heats up. I bet that you can't solve this murder mystery case, and if somehow you can, consider becoming a detective or a PI or something, because this one was tricky. On January 4th around 3 p.m., a maid at a hotel found Jacob Cohen dead in his room. Jacob was a man in his 20s, he had a successful business, he taught Sunday school, and was engaged to be married. When police showed up, they concluded that it was a murder, but because there was no sign of forced entry, they figured that it had to be somebody that was close to him. But Jacob didn't have very many people. The only ones in his life that he trusted was his sister Julia, who also taught at Sunday school, his brother John, who also owned a semi-successful business, and his fiancée Julia, who he didn't even live with yet. And the only thing the police had was a note that Jacob left that said, January 4th, 2009, 4:10 a.m. My loved ones, Jenna, Sis, brother John, I would like you to know how sorry I am. Blame God for who I am to die today. Blame and seek him if you want to know why I left this world. Do not mourn my death. Move on. Goodbye, Jacob. Who did it? Do you want to get out of going to school or work or some social thing? Here's how to fake being sick. Ideally, you want something that's going to incapacitate you from any major responsibilities without being so serious that somebody wants to take you to the doctor, so make sure that you don't overdo it. You need to make sure that you start complaining about symptoms the day before the thing that you want to get out of. So say that you don't feel well, you have a headache, a stomach ache, try not to eat as much, and go to bed earlier than you normally would. To fake a fever, you need to be sweating, so take a hot shower, put hot water in your face, drink hot liquids like tea, and wrap yourself up in blankets, but remember to shiver because you're supposed to be freezing. To fake a cold, make sure you only breathe through your mouth and put a little bit of toothpaste under your eyes to make them burn and water up. And if you have to fake being sick over the phone, make sure that you hang your head over the bed and speak slow and sluggish to make yourself sound a little bit more stuffed up. And if you get away with it, don't just get better. People become suspicious if you're back to 100% the day after a sick day. Hey, I just wanted to ask you, dude, this room smells like weed. Skunk. Put a few drops of this on your light bulbs. What is it and why the light bulbs? It's vanilla extract. It'll make the whole place smell less skunk-like. Hey, 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 your zipper's like all the way down. Man, this always happens. Just lock it. Are you calling me a... No, your zipper has a lock, okay? Like when it's unlocked, it just comes right up. But if you lock it into place, it's not gonna go anywhere. I have to get up so early tomorrow. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Like, I might as well go to bed now. Oh man, don't go now. Just drink a big glass of water before you go to sleep. So I have to pee in the morning and get out of bed. Here are a few signs that your parents are toxic. And parents, if you watch this and for some reason get offended, it's about you. They are overly critical. Yes, people are gonna make mistakes, and it's a parent's job to teach a child that that thing is a mistake, but there's a limit to this, and going past that limit can fuck with your kid's self-esteem for life. They know your boundaries, but ignore them, and this could be as simple as just knocking on a door before entering a room, which is perfectly reasonable, but they have this mindset of, well, I'm the parent, you're the child, and I can do whatever I want in my house. They project their negativity onto you. The parent might not like something about themselves, and when they see it in their kid, instead of realizing that it's from them, they just blame and insult the kid who's still developing and gonna believe all of it. They dump their emotions onto you. The parent is supposed to be the supporting, guiding, and comforting figure for the child, not the other way around. They blame you for everything, like it's your fault for being born and not theirs. Okay, I don't want you guys to like freak out or anything, but I'm gonna be taking my shirt off now. I'm just kidding, I'm covered. But the other day, I got this really big back tattoo, and I think it's time to take the Sandy Durham II skin off. Wish me luck. I'm just gonna pull it like a command strip. Oh no. You know what's crazy is I thought like, oh, this tattoo won't be that bad. It's just my back. I've done my elbows before. The back won't be that bad. Oh god, it's all ribs. I was crying the whole time. Oh god, it keeps ripping on me. Okay, you got this. Oh god, this part hurts a lot. Get off me! It burns, it feels like I'm ripping off my skin. Okay, really quick, I'm just gonna go like rinse off my back so it looks nice. Alright guys, here are the final results. What do you think? I like it. What do you think? Don't touch it. Don't touch it, it hurts. TikTok sent me this book, okay? It's called Women of TikTok. And when I got it, I was like, oh my God, I'm a woman of TikTok. I can't believe they put me in a book. How exciting. So I flipped through all the pages of these beautiful women and I don't see myself. So I flipped through it like one more time and determined that I am not in this book. Why send me this book if you're not going to put me in it? If you're just trying to make me feel bad, mission accomplished. Okay, but whatever. I forgot about it until they sent me this book called Pretty Boys. I was like, maybe they just put me in here for some reason. Pretty Boys on TikTok. Let's see. I'm not in it either. Why send me both of these books to not put me in either of them? Well, Jayus, you said your pronouns. Are they them? No, I said I go by any pronouns. I don't care how you perceive me. But I do care about TikTok bamboozling me twice. Like, what is this? If you guys don't come out with a non-binary book right now, I'm gonna lose my shit. Here's some insane history facts that I don't think school even considered teaching you. In the year 2000, an art show in Denmark showed off 10 fully functional blenders with a live goldfish inside each one. Visitors were given the option to press the on button with the idea that nobody would actually do it. Until somebody did. They pushed that button and blended 2 goldfish. Just out in the open! In 2011, an Australian bartender found a glitch in his bank's ATM system, and it allowed him to withdraw more money than he actually had the balance for. And for 4 months, this guy went on a bender of parties, private jets, and paying off his friend's student loans. He spent $1.6 million before being caught. Burger King once ran a promotion called the Whopper Sacrifice, where they would give anybody a free Whopper as long as they deleted 10 friends off Facebook. It was a huge success until Facebook shut it down because so many people were complaining about the fact that they got deleted for a sandwich. Abortion is no longer seen as a constitutional right because the Supreme Court took your liberty to decide what happens to your body, and they gave that power to the state because who knows your body better than politicians? Say it with me, okay? Banning abortions isn't going to stop abortions. They're still gonna happen. They're just gonna be way more fatal now. People with money are gonna be able to leave the state to go get an abortion. People without it are gonna be left to deal with that abortion outside of the healthcare system. And people who can't do that are just going to be forced to carry an unwanted pregnancy until they have an unwanted child. So now both patients and doctors going in for post-miscarriage treatment, IUDs, or even IVFs can be subject to criminal investigations, and that is not okay. So help fight this at bandsoff.org. They gave me a lollipop.
Stop slouching. Stop staring at the ground when you walk. Stop using your phone to avoid eye contact. Stop crossing your arms in conversation. Stop putting your hands in your pockets when you don't know what else to do.
It's a good day to be a lesbian. At least I thought so. Roe v. Wade was overturned this morning by the Supreme Court, who is filled with justices who said during their selection process that no, abortion is a constitutional right. I wouldn't even dream of changing that. They lied to us. Justice Clarence Thomas also announced today that the Supreme Court is going to have to reconsider the decisions on same-sex marriage, same-sex relations, and contraceptives. Does he realize that those decisions could also end up affecting his interracial marriage? I don't think he does. 26 states already have laws put in place that are going to force people to give birth, even in cases of rape, incest, stillbirth, and when the carrier's life is put at risk. If anybody out there is looking to take a vacation, here are some wonderful states you should go to. Avoid the rest. Astro's butt. Astro's face. Okay, when my boyfriend gets back in the car, I'm just gonna tell him a bunch of random animal facts and see how they respond. So when cats like really love you, they'll look at you and like slow blink as a way to give you kisses.
I do that to my cats all the time. I look at them and I slow blink, but they look away.
Oh. Did you know that there's this place in Japan called Capybara Island where you get to go and just hang out with capybaras all day and like watch them like in the hot springs?
Are those the ones that look like super tiny anteaters?
Yeah, they're like the little like muffin rats. Some wild tarantulas keep frogs as pets. Seahorses are in monogamous relationships. They actually go on like dates when they're younger with like other seahorses, and then they pick one and then like stay with that one, and they'll like hold tails while they swim.
I wanna hold tails.
apply for a job that requires a college degree that you don't have? Just say that you do and try to learn the skill on your own. Companies rarely check to verify this, and if they do, the worst thing that could happen is that they don't hire you. Nothing to lose, everything to win. Whenever you start a new job, no matter what the reality actually is, you now have 4 grandparents that are very much alive. For now. If you have a coworker that calls out sick, you can do the same exact thing like 1 to 3 days later. Even if you're fine, your boss is just gonna think that there's something going around the office. Advice that could save your life one day, except the scenarios become increasingly more likely to actually happen. If you ever get attacked by a crocodile, chances are it's gonna do what's called a death roll. And in order to avoid death via having your arm ripped off, you need to be able to roll with it. If you ever get buried in rubble, you shouldn't try to yell for help. This is just gonna waste energy. Instead, you should try to find something to hit against something else. If you tap in intervals of 3, somebody should be able to recognize that pattern and come and find you. If you get a warning before a natural disaster like a tornado or a wildfire, make sure you fill your bathtub up, that way you have clean water. Do you guys remember when you went to the doctor and they hit your knee in that one spot and it moved? This is a reflex. A reflex is an involuntarily bodily action that's automatic, okay? You can't help but do this, and they're testing to make sure that the reflex works. I wanted to test a couple more. So the hanger reflex was discovered in the 90s, and they're not too sure why it does this thing to people, but they think it has something to do with the pressure being applied to your frontal lobe. Making people do this shit. What? There's a couple different theories as to why this arm floating reflex does what it does, but it really all comes down to the fact that while you're pushing your arms on this doorway, your brain is sending so many like push out signals that when you finally walk away from it, it doesn't stop. Ah. Just another friendly reminder that you are not your body, okay? You're your brain. But the brain also named itself, so how trustworthy can that guy be? Here's some movies being made right now that you should be very excited for. A sequel to Beetlejuice is something that's been rumored for decades now. And it's finally happening! Thanks to Brad Pitt and his movie studio Plan B. Obviously, Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder are gonna come back, but they're also saying that Johnny Depp might be in it. Okay, if you've seen Twins with Arnold and DeVito, then you better prepare the fuck for Triplets, the sequel! But it's not gonna have Eddie Murphy. They casted Tracy Morgan to play the long-lost brother that I'm assuming they're gonna find and be like, what? They're making a live-action Little Mermaid! The cast looks amazing so far. I cannot wait. Let's just hope no popes are popping boners in this one, yeah? Here's some psychology tricks that work if you're trying to flirt. Do what's called the triangle gaze. This is when you look at somebody in their eye, and then their mouth, and then their other eye, and smile. They get all flustered. Send an audio message instead of a text or a video, because there's just something about having to focus on somebody's voice that does something to people. When you're talking with them, like in person, try to go for a walk. Your guys' bodies and breathings are going to naturally sync up, and when you are talking to this person, try to remember to slightly slow down your speaking. Just trust me on that one. Ants can live a really long time. Like, way longer than I thought. Your normal everyday ant can live like 4 to 15 years. And there have been queens on record living up to 28 years. Next time I have to step on an ant, I'm really gonna be like mourning their whole ass life. This is the hognose snake, and when it feels threatened, it'll puff itself up and hiss at you. But if that doesn't work, it'll flip itself over and play dead. And if you take the snake and flip it from its back to its belly, it'll just flip itself back over like, no, I'm supposed to be dead. Penguins are able to drink salt water like it's fresh water because they have this gland behind their eyes that actually filters their blood and allows them to sneeze the salt out. Now, I'm not saying that we need to hire a bunch of penguins to save the world or whatever, but it's an option. What if you're already dead and this is all just your life flashing before your eyes? Earth is just a wet rock that was left out for too long and stuff started to grow on it. If you keep doing new things, time will actually slow down. Well, not actually, but your perception of it will. And on the flip side, if you do the same thing every single day and never have any new experiences, time is going to speed way up. This is a formal trigger warning. Here are some of the worst prosthetics that actors had to endure. Robin Williams said that for his role in Popeye, he had to go through 90 minutes of makeup a day, but that his forearms were the worst part. He said that they would tie my arms up like a junkie for the fight scenes, and that when I had to ask for a bit of blood, they would release my arms until the circulation came back and then just tie me up again. Ian Coletti has to have his face covered up all day to play the character of Eugene Root, aka Arseface, a character in the show Preachers who was horribly disfigured after a suicide attempt. He said that there's not a whole lot of time to eat, that he has to be in the chair by 2 a.m. and doesn't get to go home until 10 p.m. Said that throughout the day he would be able to drink protein shakes, but that this was the saddest form of method acting that he's ever had to do. Jennifer Lawrence has said that if she was given the offer, she would consider coming back to play Mystique in a 4th X-Men movie, but that she doesn't necessarily want to, saying that inhaling all the fumes that made her achieve this look made her sick. I'm not too mad about it because the guy who gave me this dumpster gave it to me on a discount. This is the only trash that I have. This is just a box of glass and a rubber band, I think. Oh, no. Why did they send me this big ass dumpster? I don't think that's giving it the full credit. Holy shit. Place your bets on how embarrassing this is about to be. Trying to shovel all this tile into the wheelbarrow, but it's kind of getting dark and I don't want to piss off my neighbors, so I might have to come back tomorrow. Look at this! Look at this! We've all heard don't judge a book by its cover, but the cover of a book is supposed to tell you literally everything you need to know about the book. Spirituality, losing your head, women, coloring book. But I guess it works as a metaphor. I mean, it's pretty dangerous to judge people just based on their physical appearance. I mean, look at Jeremy Meeks, Ted Bundy, Amber Heard. Would you swipe right? Probably. No! So I brought in an expert here, okay, my boyfriend Maddie, and we are going to be judging men's profiles on Purpo.
Men.
Love
them.
Yeah. Oh my god, okay, so he likes birds, but you can message them. The hardest math problem that comes to your mind. If they say 3, they're correct. So if you're on a dating app, the song of choice should not be something called commitment issues. Things are a lot better than they have been. We like a guy with a positive attitude. If we liked guys. Is this a video chat button? You can video chat with people. Let's not try that. Hello! Download Purpo with the link in my bio and start seeing people for who they really are. Here's some movie mistakes that you didn't even notice. So in Marvel's Doctor Strange, when he's literally performing brain surgery, nobody's wearing masks. The first Pirates of the Caribbean movie is supposed to be set in about 1720s, 1760s, like that era, okay? So why the fuck is there a cowboy? They aren't supposed to exist for another 150 years. So in Twilight, Edward and Bella have sex. But Edward's a vampire, which means he's not supposed to, like, have a heartbeat. And without a heartbeat, how are you getting an erection to even have sex? And his body temperature is, like, super low, so sperm production isn't really what it's supposed to be. So how is Bella getting pregnant? We found him. I'm genuinely so impressed with you guys, but also at the same time, kind of terrified. Outside of a Facebook page that he hadn't posted to since 2015 and had one picture on it, this guy had no social media presence, but in 24 hours, you guys were able to find him and send me his name, age, phone number, address, place of business, and his wife and son's number. I'm not going to be posting this guy's information yet because I've been doxxed before and it sucks. But I know that we got the right guy because it looks like him, it sounds like him. He lives only 30 minutes away from the festival. I called his son and he was like, yeah, my dad was at that concert. And my dad called him and was like, is this the man that punched my daughter? And he admitted to it, but then was like, sir, I'm not a violent man. I gave all the info to the cops. I'm just waiting to hear back so I can press charges. But I just wanted to say thank you for all your help and support. And I'll keep you guys updated if there's any updates. I know that this is a long shot, but I'm hoping that the internet can do what the internet does best and help me figure out the identity of this man who assaulted me last night. This happened in the VIP section of the Bottle Rock Festival in Napa, California. He's wearing a Velvet Antlers technology hat and a camo jacket, so I can only assume that he's a hunter. I've already filed a police report, and Bottle Rock Security has his photo, and they're gonna try and help me find him these next 2 days, but the internet is really good at detective shit, so I'm just at the Metallica concert, one of my favorite bands, enjoying life, when a mosh pit had started behind me. I didn't realize that this was going on, okay? So when somebody accidentally bumped into me, it made me accidentally bump into this man who was standing in front of me. This man's response was to push me to the ground, where I ended up hitting my head. When I stand back up and I'm kind of just like, what the fuck? This man grabs me by my shirt and repeatedly punched me in the face. You can see my eyes starting to swell up in this. It took about 4 punches for the people around us to separate him from me, and the first thing that I said was, man, you punch like a bitch, and then he tried to punch me again. People are still separating him from me, but I was like, hey man, you know you just punched a girl, right? I felt like I needed to tell him that because I'm 6'2", and I looked like this. Axl Rose motherfucker. I don't know. I wanted to give him a chance to realize what he had just did, but he just said, I don't give a fuck, and tried to punch me again. I ended up getting a video of me and him together to try and get a good picture of his face and like see if he would say his name, but he didn't, and he just tried to like take my phone away from me. And by the time I went to go get security and come back with them, he had either run away or taken off his stupid camo jacket and hat, so I didn't know who to look for in the crowd. There's really no visible bruising in my jaw, but it's definitely swollen and I can feel it. The swelling in my eye has gone down, but the most pain that I'm in is really just my neck. Like, my neck is fucking killing me. I also just want to clarify, because I know some people out there are going to try and bring this up. I know how mosh pits work. I love moshing, but neither one of us were in the pit, and even if we were, the response to somebody bumping into you is never to punch them in the fucking face. So yeah, if anybody knows this guy that looks like every other fucking guy, let me know. When you go to order a steak, all of these are acceptable options depending on your preference. If you don't know your preference and don't really want people to make fun of you, go with one of these. But if you are ordering a burger, well done. That's it, okay? If you get a burger and it's even like a little bit pink, send that shit back. Now I do know that rare burgers can be common in some cultures, but I don't care. Send that shit back. A rare steak is fine because you know where that piece of meat came from, and all the pathogens and germs are gonna be on the outside of it. When you sear the steak, it makes it safe to eat. But hamburger meat is all mixed up and minced, and the germs could be anywhere. Meaning even if you get a good sear on it like a steak, the inside could be from the outside. There's no way to know. I just see this way too often, so I just want to let it be known that you need to cook your meat thoroughly to avoid food poisoning.